Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea. Welcome back to your Chelsea news. Jamie Gittens gives his first Chelsea interview. We have some updates regarding Noni Madueke, Mike Maignan and Lesley Ugochukwu, and Chelsea need to raise funds to register their new signings under UEFA laws. Not only that, but Chelsea face Fluminense in the Club World Cup semi-final Tuesday evening, and in this video, we're going to be predicting Chelsea's starting 11. Now, of course, I'll be giving my own thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported, but more importantly, I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 10k by the end of 2025. Kicking things off, Tanzolik and Lequip have reported that Chelsea and Valencia are close to agreeing a season-long loan for Lesley Ugochukwu. But immediately after, Fabrizio Romano had reported that Chelsea are not accepting loan proposals for Lesley Ugochukwu as the priority is for a permanent sale. Now, I mentioned this in previous videos about Lesley Ugochukwu, and I feel like he falls into the same category as Noni Madueke in terms of unlucky Chelsea players riddled with injuries and losing their opportunities to break into the first team. Very talented players. But the reality of this is Ugochukwu and Noni Madueke will be leaving Chelsea at some point during this window. Now, personally, I would love to keep all the players that we have, but I know that's not realistic and we are going to be offloading players. And I feel like Ugochukwu is just one of those unlucky players that fell into that category of never getting really an opportunity to break into the first team. And with how stacked our squad is right now, it makes so much sense that we are going to look to offload him. The question is, who do we sell him to and how much do we get for Ugochukwu? I can't remember how much we paid for him a few seasons ago, but he went on loan to Southampton last season, had a relatively good relatively good season on loan when he started playing. There was a very turbulent start where he wasn't getting game time and he was very vocal about that. But when he was getting game time, he was very impressive, and I'm surprised Southampton didn't want to keep him on a permanent. So it's very interesting. He is still gaining interest from a lot of European clubs like Valencia, etc. But Chelsea want that permanent sale. Now, whether or not it's a low-balled sale just to get him off the books and make a little bit of money, whether it's 10, 15 million, or if Chelsea are going to hold out and try and get more money for him, is a different question. But I'm very curious to know your thoughts down below regarding Lesley Ugochukwu. Do you think Chelsea should keep him, loan him, or should we sell him and try and get as much money for him as possible? Miguel Delaney has reported the Madueke latest. Chelsea want £50 million and Arsenal want to pay £40 million. And Fabrizio Romano and Give Me Sport have reported Madueke is understood to be interested in Arsenal's vision and project, and Arteta has approved. Madueke would also maintain same salary structure as he has now at Chelsea if the deal happens. A compromise on price tag could be reached between clubs due to a good relations on several deals. I find this very interesting. Chelsea have, named their price many times. It was £50 million or at least £45 million with some add-ons, and that would be the deal that Arsenal can either take or leave. Madueke is then their player. There's been a lot expanding and developing within the story. Madueke has obviously agreed personal terms with Arsenal. We don't know sort of the contract length that he's agreed to, but it's now interesting to know that he's going to be in the same wage structure as Chelsea, so it might not be a financial gain for him in terms of what reason why he wants to jump ship. It could just be project based. Who knows? He may have fallen out with people behind the scenes. We don't really know. I personally would want to keep Madueke. A lot of Chelsea fans would like to keep Madueke. There's also a lot of Chelsea fans who want to see Madueke go. But it's going to be very interesting because a 10 million difference in valuation between Arsenal and Chelsea isn't a small amount of money when you really think about it. And I know there's a lot of money thrown around in the football world. We all know that, right? Obscene amounts of money. But I don't think Chelsea are going to be willing to accept 10 million less, because in yesterday's video when we reported about this, Chelsea are looking at the Mohamed Kudus deal at around £60 million. They're also looking at the Elanga deal, which is over £50 million. They're going to look at that and say, well, if these players are going for this sort of money, this is what Madueke is valued at. You kind of take it or leave it. Like I said, whether they negotiate and get it a bit lower plus add-ons to make the total fee around that 50 million, who knows? That could be a potential option, and it's undecided whether Arsenal are going to be willing to raise their money to try and go to 50 million to kind of satisfy Chelsea's needs on that price. Now, of course, he's agreed personal terms. It doesn't mean the deal is going to happen. Me personally, I feel like the writing's on the wall, and this deal will happen at some point during the summer transfer window. Madueke has said he's focused on the Club World Cup. Obviously, he's still got a vital role to play within our squad in this tournament. We've got the semi-finals tomorrow night, Tuesday, 8 o'clock kickoff in the UK time. So it'll be very interesting to see how Maresca deals with this. He said in the press conference, not just with Madueke, but with players in general. If they don't want to be here, bye. Simple as that. I only want to work with players who want to be here. And I stand by what Maresca has said, not just specifically on Noni Madueke, but the squad as a whole. If you don't want to be here, bye. We don't want to be working with players who don't want to be here. On the same time for Madueke, if he really wants this move, I suppose he's green-lit it. It's just down to the clubs to decide. I'm very curious to know what Arsenal are going to do. And from Arsenal's perspective, again, obviously I'm not an Arsenal fan. I don't know the economics of their squad, but I can only assume that Madueke would be bought to be as a backup for Saka. Unless they were willing to play him on the left-hand side and have him in rotation with Martinelli. Because Arsenal have just signed Gyökeres, just signed Zubimendi. They are still in for the likes of Rodrigo, or there's heavy links around Rodrigo to Arsenal. So if they do then go secure Rodrigo, then why are they buying Madueke? £50 million for a backup winger. I mean, the money makes sense for a 23-year-old England international who was our highest goal-scoring winger last season. Yeah, it backs the price tag, but for Madueke to have been willing to go to Arsenal to be a backup winger doesn't make any sense for me, because we know what Madueke's like in terms of his attitude and how he wants to be the best and the arrogance he shows, which I quite like sometimes. Sometimes it's a bit overboard, I will admit, but I feel it's very important to back yourself as a player, and he does that very well at Chelsea, and he pretty much guaranteed a starting spot if he proves himself in training. So it feels a bit of a sideways move on Madueke's terms from the outside looking in, going from a winger who needs to sort of fight for his place and play, left or right hand side for Chelsea, or go to Arsenal where he's going to have to fight for his place and play left or right for Arsenal. Now, yes, Arsenal are a more stable club than us right now, consistently finishing second in the league for 3 seasons in a row. Yes, they're further in on their project. I feel like he would have more freedom in an Arteta system, but I'm just curious to see how this plan develops and if this transfer even happens. I feel like it will happen at some point. I'm very curious to know your thoughts and opinions down below in terms of the valuation. Do you feel like Chelsea will accept £40 million, or will they dig their heels in and say 50 million or nothing? Do you see this deal happening this transfer window? Fabrizio Romano has just reported that AC Milan manager Allegri confirms Mike Maignan to Chelsea deal is now completely off. He says, "I am very happy he decided to stay. Mike remains the captain and is one of the best goalkeepers in Europe." Now, this is basically confirmation. Of course, Mike Maignan hasn't signed any extension to his deal as of right now, as a time of recording. He may do it once this is posted, and I'll keep you updated if he does. But this is a statement of intent from Allegri saying Mike Maignan is going nowhere. There was a potential for him to leave. Chelsea didn't pay the money that AC Milan wanted. It was over a £3 or £4 million differentiation. We didn't want to play any more than what we thought he was valued at with 12 months left on his contract. Seems like that boat has sailed. Mike Maignan staying at AC Milan. No doubt he'll have some sort of contract extension within the next few weeks across this window. Now, of course, if he doesn't sign the extension in the next few weeks, there is still an opportunity that Chelsea may go back in and say, all right, cool, how much is it really going to cost? The window's clocking down. He's not signed this new deal. Do you want some money for him, or does he go for a free next season? Obviously, if he does sign the deal, then it's completely done and dusted. But I thought this was very interesting to react to and get your thoughts and opinions down in the comments, because I think this is a massive missed opportunity. Now, I will say that Sanchez has improved a lot in 2025. I say this a lot. I give him his flowers where it's due. I criticise him where it's due. He's been relatively solid. We know he's a good shot stopper. We know his distribution is poor. But overall, less mistakes, more commanding in the box, less flappy Superman punches. He is getting better. Do I feel confident going into next season with Sanchez as number one? Not really. And I feel that's just because Sanchez hasn't really earned my trust yet. And for it's the same for a lot of Chelsea fans. It's a long time to build that trust. And it's the same with any player, right? Even if we bought a new number one, we'd have higher expectations, but we want them to deliver on them expectations. Remember Onana to United. They paid big money for him. He was going to be the number one, and then he's just been god-awful. So that trust is broken because he never really started building it from the start with his price tag and the expectations that were set on him by the club and by the fan base as well. So I just feel like this is a massive missed opportunity for Chelsea. Mike Maignan is a fantastic keeper who can play the ball out with his feet, still a great shot stopper. I just think Chelsea should have got him for our number one next season, especially if we're looking to offload Petrovic, and then we're going to have Sanchez, Jorgensen, and then Penders potentially going on loan or staying to kind of train in and around the first team. And obviously we've got Selena as well, which no one's really spoke about what's happening with him at the moment. So I'm very curious to know your thoughts down below. Do you think Chelsea have missed an opportunity to sign Big Mike? Is this confirmation that the deal is completely gone, the ship has sailed, and Chelsea should move on? Or is this very smart from AC Milan to try and bait Chelsea into coming in with bigger money to then get the deal over the line before Mike Maignan signs an extension? Jamie Gittens did his first Chelsea interview. Okay, Jamie Gittens did his first interview as a Chelsea player, and I picked up a few key parts from this interview because I'd love to react to it with you guys and get your opinions. Gittens goes on to say that Enzo Maresca was showing me the way that he likes to play with wingers. The system is built for wingers to attack their fullbacks and create stuff, and I thought doing it with Enzo in his system is perfect for me. He then goes on to say that Moises Caicedo, I see he is a beast. Enzo Fernandez is a World Cup winger. Cole Palmer, Liam, I think everyone I'm looking forward to. Reece James, the captain. He is saying all the right things. Chelsea fans are so excited to see Jamie Gittens play in a Chelsea shirt, and the first time we're going to see him play is in our pre-season friendly against Bayer Leverkusen on the 8th of August, which is a Friday. You know, if he plays for that game, which I assume he will do, Maresca will want him ready, raring to go for the Premier League season. He can't play in the Club World Cup competition because he's cup tied with Dortmund. So that's going to be the first opportunity for Chelsea fans to see him. I'm personally so excited to see him play. I think he's going to do so well in a Chelsea shirt. I'm hoping he does well in a Chelsea shirt. But he's saying all the right things. I like Enzo Maresca's plans. I like the system. It makes sense for wingers. That's what I like doing. Being high and wide, attacking my fullback, scoring goals, creating goals for the team. He thinks it's perfect for him, which is amazing. He then goes on to say that Caicedo's a beast, which he is. Enzo Fernandez is a World Cup winner, which is overlooked a lot. He's a very experienced player for someone of his age. Obviously, Cole Palmer, Liam from the Man City Academy days, and saying that he's looking forward to everyone, and Reece James is the captain. He's a young player with a lot of experience at his age, playing in European football, playing in the Champions League, etc. I think he's going to make a massive impact on that left-hand side. And I'm super excited. I hope it goes well. I really do hope it goes well. I really hope it goes well. He's one of those signings where I hope it doesn't flop, because he's got all of the ingredients to work in a Maresca system. And this is a Maresca signing. We know that this window is the window where Maresca are picking the right profiles and the board are going and getting the right profiles for him. It's going to be a very exciting season for Chelsea, because if you look at our team so far in terms of improvements, Sugo, Santos has come back, Gittens for the left-hand side, Esteval for the right-hand side. You got Mamadou Sarr coming in as like a backup in and around that central defensive positions. We've got Liam Delap up front to compete with the likes of Jackson and Guiu. We've already made a lot of improvements. So it's going to be an exciting time to be a Chelsea fan, and an exciting season to look forward to. And I think Gittens is going to be a key part of that going forward. But I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions on Jamie Gittens' first interview. Do you think he's saying all the right things? Are you excited to see him play in a Chelsea shirt? Or do you feel like Chelsea shouldn't have even gone for Gittens and should have gone for another target? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. The Times Sport has reported that Chelsea must raise north of £60 million in sales to ensure new signings can be registered in UEFA competitions after breaching rules. The article goes on to say that Chelsea sources remain confident that they will not be adversely affected by the settlement agreement. They stress they are not forced to sell players unless they want to go, and are not concerned about registering players for the UCL. Now, I'm going to be honest, the way that this article reads is very high pressure, needs to happen, Chelsea could be in trouble, when in reality, this isn't even an issue. When you really think about it, the amount of players we have got up for sale that we are trying to offload, and it's going to be a difficult task to offload all of them. We are well aware of this. But you just think 25 million for Petrovic. Vega's probably going to get you around 20, 30 million alone. Nkunku we're trying to offload. Sterling's going to be a difficult one. Chilwell's probably going to be a difficult one because of the wages attached to their contracts. There is a long list of players we are looking to offload. Lesley Ugochukwu will probably pick you up 10, 15 million if we can get a permanent sale for him. There is a long list of players we're looking to offload. I feel like just from Petrovic and Nkunku, that's 60 million already. I really don't see this being an issue. And I just think it's nice to kind of talk about, nice to react to, get your thoughts and opinions as well down below in the comments around, is this a big thing for Chelsea? Do we have to worry about it? Because the other side of it is we've already earned £61 million already from being in the Club World Cup competition, which is paid for a Liam Delap signing and most of, or some of, even half, my maths isn't too great, on one of the other signings of Jamie Gittens. So, or if it covers the Mamadou Sarr signing and the Liam Delap signing, and we still have money left over. And that's about us playing in the semi-finals and potentially progressing, and then potentially going to the final and winning the thing, which would take our earnings up to 92 million, which covers this, or basically most of our transfers so far, or the entire settlement if we are needed to pay that full €80 million fine from UEFA, which is very conditional. The €20 million is unconditional, right? The other is down to if we breach more rules over the next couple of years. So I honestly have full confidence that Chelsea do not need to worry about this at all. They're going to raise more than 60 million in player sales, and we've already earned 61 million from the Club World Cup. What do we do with that money? it puts us in a net positive. Our PSR is in a very healthy position, and this Club World Cup has really helped out financially, which we knew it was going to because of the amount of prize money in it. I think you got 30 million just for entering the thing. And obviously Chelsea taking this seriously. And I genuinely feel like we can go on and win the whole thing. There's no reason why we can't. We got the easiest route due to our results and other results and the way it's fallen. We've got Fluminense in the semi-final. No team to be disrespected and underappreciated, taken for granted. We still have to go out there. We know how tough these South American teams are. You have to go out there, play who's in front of you, respect the opposition, and win like we did against Palmeiras. Then the final is either going to be a Real Madrid or a PSG. Incredible game that's going to be, and one of the toughest games that we can be playing in this competition. But on a one-off knockout game, I always back my club because I feel like we can do it. We did it in Munich, did it in Porto. We've done it in, when Chelsea knockout competitions, we always seem to find a way. So it'll be very interesting to see how this Club World Cup pans out. Mate, could you imagine if Chelsea go on and win it and we get that golden badge for 4 years? It'd be unbelievable. £92 million in prize money and a golden badge for 4 years. It would be world champions. It would be unbelievable. So yes, when it comes to this article, it was rare. It reads in a very, not scaremongery, but more like a emergency. Chelsea needs to deal with this. And Chelsea even come out and said, we're not even bothered, mate, because we've already got the money. We've got loads of players to sell. We'll be fine. We're not worried about registering for the Champions League. We will be able to deal with the FFP issues that they have raised, no problem. So I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. How much do you think Chelsea can raise by selling the players that are listed for sale? I was about mentioning João Felix and a load of other players as well. How much do you think that Chelsea can realistically raise by selling players to then, keep UEFA quiet in terms of registering players and also make a profit in terms of what I think we've spent around 140 million with Delap, Gittens, João Pedro and Mamadou Sarr. It's around about that figure. How much profit do you think we can make on that if we didn't go and make more signings? I'm very curious to know your thoughts in the comments. And now it's time to predict Chelsea's starting 11 to face Fluminense, which kicks off Tuesday, 8 p.m. UK time. It is on DAZN only. It's not on Channel 5 for those of you who are wondering what is being broadcast on. I will be doing a live watch along here on YouTube and over on TikTok if you want to come join the community while we go through the semi-finals. But let's predict this starting 11. We have a bit of a predicament because we have Levi Colwill and Liam Delap suspended due to too many yellow cards. However, we do have Moises Caicedo coming back into the fold, which asks a lot more questions as well regarding how well André Santos played in the quarterfinal against Palmeiras. So let's get started. I think that Robert Sanchez is going to be the number one. I don't see why Maresca would swap out the goalkeepers at the moment. Obviously, we spoke about Mike Maignan earlier in the video and sort of that being a done and dusted thing at the moment. In my opinion, Sanchez has done very, very well in this competition. He has conceded a number of goals. All of them I don't think he could have done anything about. There's a big debate whether he should have saved the Esteval shot. And honestly, if you feel like he should have saved that, then you're asking he should be Superman. You're asking the most out of Sanchez. There is no way he was going to save that from a tight angle. Very well struck. He did the right thing positionally. He was anticipating the cutback or the cross into the box, which most keepers, if not all of them, would have done from that angle. Esteval's on his weaker foot. Anyway, I feel like Sanchez will start. He's had a very solid few performances. And look, to be honest, he's been solid for many months now. Obviously, we would like a new number one, but I feel confident going into this game. Left back is going to be Marc Cucurella. We know it's going to be, if I could spell it right. We know it's going to be Marc Cucurella. Again, hopefully, I feel like the yellow cards get wiped from this game onwards. I believe so. I'm not entirely sure. There was a bit of confusion around last game in the quarters that if you got booked, it got wiped, but Delap and Colwill were still suspended. So I'm hoping that all the players that are on one yellow card, it does get wiped at the semis because then they would miss the final and it could get very messy for both teams, whoever's in it, because the amount of yellow cards that are still left available for people to pick up, right? Cucurella, solid. We know how integral he is to an Enzo Maresca system. We know how good he has been in Enzo Maresca's system and in this competition as well. So long may that continue. It's going to be tough facing Fluminense. The South American teams are aggressive. They press hard. They give everything. This competition means so much to them. And it's going to be a bit of an emotional reunion, obviously, with Thiago Silva as well. But yes, Cucurella at left back. The two centre-backs is where we have the most debate because you could play Trevor Chalobah and you can also play Tosin. Or you could play Badiashile, Trevor Chalobah, Badiashile, Tosin. Mamadou Sarr could make an appearance. You never know. Ansel Mino could make an appearance. I don't think the latter will, if I'm being brutally honest. I think Maresca is going to change it too much. I personally feel like he is going to field Badiashile, and I would like to see him pair him with Tosin. That's the wrong Tosin, so we'll remove him. But I feel like Tosin would be the choice. Reason being is these guys played together as a partnership throughout a lot of the Conference League campaign. And Badiashile has become very, very solid as time has gone on, and he's been, stayed fitter for longer, right? Tosin, cool, calm, collected, incredible in the air, great on the ball, very consistent defender for Chelsea. And the fact that we picked him up for free absolutely baffles me. It really, really does. So I feel like it will be Badiashile and Tosin, in all honesty. Moving on to right back, I think it's going to be Mr. Reece James. Now, it was a blessing and a curse. I spoke about this in yesterday's video, that he was not available for the quarterfinals because we know that Maresca was going to play him in midfield. However, Andre Santos came in and played that position, and he played incredibly well. So it's kind of a blessing and a curse. Now, we do know that the Reece James injury was precautionary rather than anything going wrong. His muscles felt a bit tight. He didn't want to risk it. And I respect that. He then posted on Instagram saying, I'm fully fit, rested, and raring to go for the semis, which we love to see. So he will be playing right back, in my opinion, or at least he should be. Now, when it comes to the holding six roles, obviously it's going to be Moises Caicedo. We thought we were going to miss Caicedo massively in the quarterfinals. Let's be real. We all thought that. But Andre Santos came in and did an incredible job where we didn't miss Moises Caicedo. And that speaks volumes on how talented that player is. However, Caicedo is already unavailable. He plays. Simple as that. One of our best players, if not our best player currently. Having him back is a massive boost. Massive, massive boost. He will boss that midfield. Again, being South American, knows how tough and gritty it can be. Loves getting stuck in. This guy's legs are made of elastic for some of the challenges that he goes through and survives perfectly fine. The guy's an absolute warrior. Super happy to have him back. And I feel like Enzo Fernandez is going to partner him. I think Enzo's having a good tournament. Last game, he was relatively quiet, but I still think overall he's had a fantastic tournament. And the form that he's been in under Enzo Maresca has been second to none. He's really developing. Really like that partnership now. And it's got to the point where no one questions their price tag, right? They're just so, so good. And if you don't rate Enzo Fernandez or Caicedo, then I don't know what to tell you. You don't know ball. That's all I'm going to say, because they're fantastic. Now, when it comes to this front four, this is where it gets a bit sticky, if I'm being honest, because on the left-hand side, you could play Noni Madueke. You could also play Nkunku. Now, you could argue who's been better out the two recently. I've really liked Nkunku's work rate recently. I think he's been really getting stuck in. And obviously, Noni Madueke hasn't had the best of performances on the left. But when he came on against Palmeiras, he looked very bright, very energetic, was really trying to make a difference, trying to create chances and score for the team. He had a very good shot saved by the keeper. He won loads of corners. Very proactive, very positive movements from him. You could also go on the right-hand side and you've got Neto, who's been fantastic, arguably our player of the tournament. But you could also play Noni on the right, Neto on the left. It's very unpredictable with an Enzo Maresca system and who you want to choose on either side. If I'm going on recent form, I feel like we have to go with Noni Madueke on the left, if I'm being honest, because after the performance he put in the quarters coming off the bench, he looked like he was super interested and, again, very, very positive going forward. I wouldn't begrudge an Nkunku start on the left, because I know that we're looking to offload him, but he's played very well and he seems to get his confidence back, his passion back, he's pressing, he's really trying to work for the team. Scored a vital goal against Benfica as well. Seems to be himself again in this Chelsea team. So I'd be happy with either, but I see Maresca starting with Madueke on the left. Obviously, that number 10 is going to be Mr. Cole Palmer. If it isn't, I'll be very, very surprised. Obviously, he's fit, raring to go, and our best player. Obviously, he scored. Seeing that celebration in the short sleeve was a strange and amazing thing to see against Palmeiras. The half-space turn, the way you just glided past the players and passed the ball into the net. If we get another one of those, I'll be over the moon. So he has to play. And on the right-hand side, it's only one person for me, and that's Neto. That is Neto. Now, there will be people that say, what about Tyreek George? Is he going to get any minutes? I feel like he will, potentially. I think it will be more substitute appearances rather than starting from the get-go, especially in the knockout stages, the semi-final. You can't underestimate anyone. It's a one-off game. Anything can happen. Fluminense beat Inter Milan comfortably 2-0. Now, yes, Inter Milan got pumped by PSG 5-0 in the Champions League final, but there's still no team to take for granted, right? So, same principles. You start your strongest 11, and that's who I think we've got currently so far. Now, the biggest question mark for me is the number 9 position, because Jackson is available, and it seems like a lot of Chelsea fans just don't want to see him play ever again, which unfortunately he will play at some points. He's still part of the squad. And João Pedro, who was very impressive on his cameo that he had in the last game where he came on the 55th minute. Is João Pedro ready to start for Chelsea? That's the question. Has Maresca gone and secured Pedro for the Club World Cup because he wants to use him straight away? The cameo is amazing. I'm surprised we didn't see Jackson. Very surprised we didn't see Jackson at all. Or is it a tactical thing where he's given Pedro a run out so he can rest Jackson completely? He can come in and start the game, and then Pedro can replace him later in the game because we have no Liam Delap. This is the hardest decision for me. Personally, I would love to see João Pedro start the game and see how he gets on from the get-go. Realistically, I feel like it will be a Nicholas Jackson start because I don't think João Pedro is probably ready to play a full 90 or start the game, purely because he was on holiday last week, played a couple of training sessions with Chelsea and was chucked into the game in the second half. So I'm going to go with Nicholas Jackson. And I feel like Nicholas Jackson has a lot that he needs to sort of make up for with these recent red cards and the attitude outbursts and things like that. So it's a perfect opportunity to start the game after seeing, and the fans seeing, João Pedro and Liam Delap playing in his position to a better standard. Jackson has to fight for his position. Now, again, this could be all decided behind the scenes when Maresca goes, right, João Pedro is starting because he's already outworking Jackson. He offers a different side of the game that we need for Fluminense, and Delap is obviously playing better than Jackson in training. Jackson's been suspended, so maybe he's got to kind of work his way up the pecking order from behind the scenes rather than on the pitch to earn that right on the pitch. We don't really know. But in my opinion, I feel like that's one of the strongest teams that we can field, knowing that we have no Delap and no Colwell. And I feel like Jackson getting his start, it's a bright, fresh slate. It's an opportunity for him to right his wrongs for the fans, at least. If he can link up with Palmer, we know the link-up play is very, very good. Plays a bit different. He drops a lot deeper. Does work into the channels. He's not a Delap, and Pedro works. He's like a hybrid of Delap and Jackson together at a higher standard, in my opinion. Super impressed with Pedro's performance. I expect Pedro to play. I just don't know whether he's ready to start. So that is my predicted Chelsea 11. I think it's an opportunity for Nicholas Jackson to redeem himself, put himself in Chelsea fans' good books, and get himself a goal or assist and help us go through to the final. So that's all the latest Chelsea news and my predicted 11 to start against Fluminense in the Club World Cup semi-finals. Do you agree with my lineup or disagree? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. I love having a conversation with you guys. And of course, give me your opinions on everything that's been reported. Now, if you did watch this video all the way to the end, firstly, you're a real one, and I mean that, you're a real one. But secondly, there'll be a thumbnail appears on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure you click that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.